I picked up this guy here on Amazon not that long ago. I think it was in the 30s, which is one of the lowest prices I've seen this guy in a while. I posted about this guy on my community tab, which is how I keep you guys up to speed with the latest knife releases, drops, sales alerts, everything. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, this will be a great time to do so and keep you guys posted on great deals. And this particular one, the Powerpint from SOG, is a multi-tool that I've kept my eye on for a long time. I mean, I've heard only nothing but great things about this knife and about this multi-tool. And we're about to check it out here for the first time. Did buy this one with my own money, right? This video is sponsored by my wallet. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and check it out here, shall we? Of course, this multi-tool and every other tool or product or knife that you see in this video will be linked down below. So if you're interested in checking prices, availability, variants, and all that good stuff, then definitely check those links. It will absolutely support the channel at zero extra cost to you. And, you know, doing the honors today, I feel like it's only fitting to use another one of what so far has become one of my favorite multi-tools, right, of all time here. And this is a gift for my birthday. My wife got me the Leatherman FREE P4, right? I absolutely love this thing, right? How, you know, the fact that it's magnetic, how easy it is to operate, right? Engage, disengage, and all that good stuff. I did an in-depth unboxing and overview of this guy here in the channel not that long ago, so definitely check it out, the Leatherman FREE P4. And so let's just go ahead and make a cut here on this bad boy. All right, try to do this as safely as possible. All right, they put this hard plastic on these things. It's really hard to overcome. Maybe I just use the pliers, right? Get the pliers out here, do some work. Look at that. There's probably a sexier way to open up this thing, I promise you. Just over here being all, you know, primitive and stuff. There we go. Definitely that thick plastic. All right, are you gonna give me my multi-tool or what? Thank you. And let's see, is there anything else in here? All right, looks like there is like an alarm, little security thing, and that's about it. The main handout is in the back, so basically it tells you here everything that's in this bad boy, but we're gonna break it down one at a time together here, you and I. So here it is. First impression, I mean, this guy looks to be very pocket friendly, to say the least. It's actually pretty small once it's folded. First things first, really digging the whole gear right there. Looking pretty nice. From what I understand, it's sort of like a patented compound leverage mechanism. So obviously it gives you way more leverage as you use it. Again, I'm kind of like a baby when it comes to multi-tools because I'm just getting my feet wet into multi-tools. I've really been sort of kind of falling in love with multi-tools after making so much content about knives here for so long in this channel. Kind of going through a rebirth of, you know, falling in love with multi-tools. So this one was in my bucket list, definitely in my radar. And so definitely, you know, it was about that time, right, during the holidays and that promotional price for me to actually pick this guy up. So let's kind of break it down here little by little. Looks like we have needle nose pliers going on this bad boy, right? We have a bolt gripper going on here as well. Soft wire cutter right here. As you can see, loving the embossed SOG going on there on both sides, so you can't get it wrong, right? You know exactly what you're working with there. If I give you a little zoom in right here, you can take a look at those needle nose pliers, right? Bolt gripper and the soft wire cutter on this bad boy so far. Obviously, this is the open position, right? It's very intuitive, right? User friendly to open and close. I can tell you it's nice and oiled, right? Out of the box. It's a very smooth operation right here to open and close this guy. So that's nice. For starters, I know one of the best features this thing has is you can put any sort of screw driver bit on here, right? And you can definitely use this guy as a screwdriver. So that piece right there is pretty neat. You can use it as a screwdriver on the go. And then we start sort of kind of working our way through everything on this bad boy. We'll start with this size first. So these are a little bit small, but you can single-hand it if you wanted to. Probably feel safer using both hands just because how tiny it is. Looks like we have a serrated blade going on this one. Not entirely sure on the steel, so I'll put it on the screen. As a matter of fact, it does say it right here, blade steel 5CR 15 MOB. Open length is 5 inches, close length is 3.2 inches. Those weigh around 4.2 ounces, and the finish on this particular one is stone wash, but obviously there's a blacked out version as well. We got that going there. Is it locking? Oh, it is locking. So I think in order to release, I have to push here. All right, what's the deal with this guy? There we go. Okay, now I got it. Now I got it figured out. So in order for me to release, I have to push this guy. I wonder if I can do it. All right. Am I able to do it without? Okay, it might seem like I have to do it with this guy open just to be able to disengage, but you push on this black little lever here, and then you close this guy like that, right? Then kind of working my way through all the other tools. It looks like we have a can opener right here. We have a Phillips head screwdriver, right? We can maybe do like a 2x zoom in, right? So can opener, Phillips head screwdriver. That's nice. Then we have whatever this is. Okay, so it looks like it's a combination of a bottle opener right here. This guy, bottle opener. That's not bad. And then we have our scissors right here, right? Very good size pair of scissors for, I mean, this size multi-tool. So that's not too bad, right? We get a piece of paper right here. Of course, I'm going to test out the blades in a second, but right, definitely pretty good for the size. Cutting through that paper like nobody's business. All right, and again, these do lock. So in order to bring them back in, just got to make sure I push on this black lever and then they snap back in. We do have sort of like an inch, right, inch ruler right here. Actually, this is centimeters. So we got centimeters ruler on one side and inches on the other side. That's pretty neat. Same thing going on this side. And here we have a file, which is pretty interesting. You got a very interesting thick file, right? Diagonal on one side and cross pattern on the other side. Here is the hook cutter, right? So this is interesting. Obviously, this will cut right here. And there is your blade. So hook cutter going on there. Interesting. We have a jewelry driver. So that's interesting, right? So this would be kind of good for your, let's say, your glasses. If you were doing anything with a small flathead screwdriver, right? That's what this guy is. They call it the jewelry screwdriver. We have an all tool, which is, that one's always interesting. The all tool, I found out, is what you use to kind of open up a leather hole, make it bigger, if you would. Right, so that is the all tool right here, this bad boy. And last but not least, I'm thinking this is the regular blade. And yes, they gave me a one cliff blade. That is absolutely my style right there. So good choice of blade geometry right there. Again, 5CR 18 MOV on this guy. Right, very, very interesting there. I mean, of course, everything, we're not going to compare apples to apples, because if we were to, you know, just put everything next to the FREE P4, everything is going to be bigger, right? The blade, the scissors, right? Every single tool, right? It's going to be much bigger. But the idea with this guy is the ease of, you know, carry, right? How easy it is, how compact it is to carry this guy. I mean, we'll just do a size by size here, right? FREE P4. Actually, I'll do a few. Right, so there is your, let's do it like this. Right, so there's the Powerpint, there is the FREE P4, there's the Fleesa multi-tool we've checked out here. This is the OG multi-tool in the channel. And then here's something wild, right? This is like your multi-tool from, you know, Lowe's or something. I picked this one up way back when. I had it in my truck somewhere. I've used it many times, but this was before I was into like EDC and stuff like that. So it's a very generic cobalt multi-tool, right? The Fleesa was my very first serious multi-tool, like good looking, aesthetics looking. My wife recently got me the FREE P4. It's just a little bit narrower but longer than the Fleesa multi-tool. But the Powerpint, I mean, this thing takes the cake. Just look at the size wise here compared to these other guys. It's like so much easier, right? So much more compact, easier to carry, right? So let's just do maybe open position on these guys. So I'm gonna do open like that. We'll put this guy here like this. Right, maybe do it like opposite, right? And there's the Fleesa multi-tool. As far as the Fleesa multi-tool, it's actually look, yeah, pretty comparable to the Free P4, right? But a little bit shorter because it does resemble or follow the same lines as the Leatherman Wave. But the SOG, I mean, it's so much shorter. Narrower. I mean, I think as far as easy carry, to have a multi-tool on you, that's probably going to be a best way to go. If you do know you are going to be doing more serious work, then probably the bigger multi-tools like the Fleesa or the Free P4, which I've really been enjoying the whole magnetic feature of this guy, the way this guy snaps in place. That's just so satisfying. So really been digging this guy. The review should be coming to the channel here very soon. So definitely subscribe for that if you aren't already. But this is the new kit on the block. Did I mention it has a pocket clip? Because it absolutely does. For the price, I mean, we got, again, stainless steel, stone wash finish, right? The blades are going to be 5CR18 MOV. You can actually get them out with one hand, believe it or not. So that's interesting. And I wonder if there's a way to disengage these without having to open it like that, but I don't think so. Just kind of, they're too close to each other to do it this way. So I feel like you have to open it a little bit, then push down on the release, which moves this piece, and that allows you to, be able to unlock them from that lock position. Also got to dig this one cliff blade. That is my cup of tea right there. Bet this thing is going to be great for utility cuts and draw cuts. As a matter of fact, pierce cuts. Look at that. Boom. Bam, right? 5CR18 MOV, putting in some work. Boom, bam. All right, going through that paper pretty good. Not gonna be, as sharp as, let's say, a more dedicated knife, or probably gonna keep an edge, as something like 14C28N or D2 or something like that. But on the fly, if you need a sharp object, you need a sharp tool, right? You absolutely could make this work as part of the whole suite of tools you got here, right? Looks like we even have a little lanyard situation going on there. A little lanyard loop. That's good. Almost missed this guy, right? You see this little jimping section right here. This is a wire cramper right in there, right? There you go. Let me show you guys. That section right there is a wire cramper with the teeth right there. And it looks like we have a protractor. I'm not sure how that works, but apparently this right here is a protractor. So that will be interesting on how that works. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on with this guy. As a multi-tool, 18 different tools in one. All right, there's a little zoom in for you guys to take it in its full glory. Again, really good price. These typically go for around $45 to $50. Now on the 30s, I'm not sure if it's still going for that price. I definitely let you all know when it was, so you guys could take advantage if you were looking forward to doing so. And yeah, I'm glad I did. I'll tell you that. I'm glad I did. So we got the flathead screwdriver here, a little bit smaller than my, typical taste, but it makes sense in this small form factor. Obviously, the flathead screwdriver on this guy is much bigger, but you get the idea. I mean, the whole theme here is a more compact, friendly size to carry, right? Small size, and it's still giving you, again, that compound leverage with these sort of gears that you can actually see here. It's a lot of kind of oils and things like that. Let me wipe that off. It's brand new, so it comes really good and lubricated out of the box. But yeah, I'm sure those gears, they feed off of each other, give you a lot more leverage because, hashtag physics, right? So that's pretty interesting. The magnetic hex bit right here. That's a hex bit holder right there. It has magnetic. And then 18 heavy duty tools. The Powerpint is a powerful multi-tool in a packetable package, according to the box. So yeah, very interesting pickup right here. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I picked this guy up. Of course, I'm going to test this guy. It's going to be part of my carry, EDC carry here going forward. Free P4, right? The Leatherman FREE P4. I'm excited for this one. It's part of the free series from Leatherman, so I'm excited for that. And doing the honors today, cutting here through the seal, I got the recently unboxed and recently just dropped the QSP Hedgehog on the spear point blade, right? This is a traditional pocket knives exclusive. This thing just dropped, right? It's about $145, but with code Miguel10, you can actually get it for around $130.50. So it's sweet. It is an exclusive, right? Probably not going to be around for long. So yeah, check out the unboxing on this one if you want to learn more. It should be actually posted right before this video. But yeah, let me go ahead and make a cut here, right? Of course, these nice tools, right, products, everything will be linked down below. It does help out the channel when you use those links, but that is entirely up to you and at zero extra cost. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Bam. Taking the top off. We got our Leatherman handout here, user guide, warranty details, right? Enjoy that 4K definition if you want to read through that. All right, take a look. Maintenance, right? All that good stuff. All right, but let's go ahead and keep moving forward. What else we got here? We got the sheath, of course, right? We got like a nylon, right, sheath here, right? Leatherman logo on there. Nice little clip there. Nice little pop open there. It's also branded Leatherman. Okay, so I'm excited to carry that. I might carry it with the little pouch here, or I might just carry it without, right? So we'll see. We'll come back to that in a moment. Of course, the start of the show, here it is, right? This is the Leatherman FREE P4, right? Right off the bat, I can see a little bit of grease going on here, right? Obviously, brand new package type of stuff. So I'm gonna wipe a little bit of that off here and there, a little bit of excess. There we go. All right, so we got a pocket clip going on this one, right? That's exciting. We got the Leatherman FREE P4, right? Branding on both sides, right? Kind of love this stainless steel with a little dot, right? All the different dots going on there, looking good. Of course, I mean, some of the other multi-tools that I have, like this Fleesa, resembles a little bit more of the Leatherman Wave, right? So here, the FREE P4, it's a little bit narrower, it's a little bit taller, right? Just kind of doing some comparisons. It's about just as wide, right? But you can see this is basically this has been the one multi-tool I've basically been using since the beginning of the channel. At one point, the unboxing and review of this multi-tool had the most views out of any other content I had created, regardless of there being just one multi-tool video and like a bajillion other knife videos. But yeah, it's about time for a new multi-tool, man, or at least to add one to the collection. So I'm excited for that. First things first, I know this one has, and again, I'm just checking this out for the first time, has this little mechanism here. You move this little flap, right? And then that allows you to close the blade. So first thing I'm going to do, the idea with the free collection or line from Leatherman is that you should be able to do things one-handed. So I'm going to try to open this blade here, one-handed. Oh, man, that felt a lot less. I mean, that was a lot less effortless, or a lot effortless than I thought it would be. I thought, you know, it would be a little bit more, let's say, clunky or whatever. But look at that. I just... wow. It was that easy, right? Look at this. All right, one-handed open, right? And then to close, it is locking, by the way, so that blade is not going anywhere. In order to disengage, I just pull back on this flap here, and I'm able to close that, right? I think there's also some magnets, if I read correctly, so this one is magnetically holding all of these different tools in place. Without, you know, before going through all the different tool arsenal that this one has in store, let me try the whole opening. Oh, okay, I mean, you gotta just do it in person, man. You see so many videos online, but then oh, this is magnetic right here. The close. Oh, that is satisfying right there, my friend. Okay, so there's magnets there, right? And then these clip in place, right? Pay attention right here. What's about to happen? Wow, that is one satisfying click, and we are ready to get some work done. Obviously, Leatherman, these are made in good old US of A, so that's awesome, right? About time, just again, about time I finally picked one of these up. I finally got one of these up for myself, and honestly, what a perfect birthday gift, right? So shout out to my wife. She's always very supportive, you know, of my EDC journey here, even since the beginning of the channel about 2 years ago. So that's something that I'm absolutely very grateful for. So very comfortable here, right, to work this thing. Boom. We got the pliers, right, with the wire cutter there situation. Again, free series, right, so you can, you know, obviously this one isn't broken in yet. A lot of people I see, they do things one-handed. Okay, and then I could try to close it one-handed. I don't know, might need to break it in a little bit. But man, so far, right, it is magnetic. Been seeing so many videos trying to narrow it down to which one should be my first Leatherman. And, you know, I kind of wanted to get something premium. So this one is definitely scratching that itch. I think, so here's the deal. To get these other tools out, I think you do push down on this thing, and then you can individually pick them up. They do lock in place. All right, so here, I'm going to go in order, actually. There we go, for consistency. Trying to get this guy out. All right, is there a trick to the madness? No, I'm like a Leatherman newbie here, so we're just gonna do things this way. There we go. Okay, so I got about 3 different tools out here so far. I think this is, if I don't see a pry bar on the other end, this might be the flathead screwdriver, or maybe the pry bar right over here, right? There is your Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, and this is also like a bottle opener right there, which is very neat. And then we have our scissors, right? So scissors are already ready to go right there. All right, let's do some cutting, shall we? Here we go, piece of paper. All right, look at that, cutting through that really good. By the way, thank you, Austin, for that QSP Hedgehog spear point. So check out the unboxing on this thing. I'm telling you, that thing is sweet. Just the first piece of paper that I had laying around. But yeah, that's, you know, looking pretty good so far, right? Some sharp scissors going on there. All right, so to close this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and again, I like the fact that they're already ready for action. It's not like you have to, you know, get them flipped or something like in some other multi-tools. So go ahead and close this guy. All right, and on the other side, what do we have going on the other side? We have, well, this one should also be able to be open one-handed, and it sure is. We have our saw. All right, there it is. We got our saw situation here. I see great things about the saw. Cuts through plastic, wood, whatever. Very toothy saw right there. If I ever saw one. Ha, get it? Pun intended. Anyway, anyways, lame jokes aside, right? Close this guy. Actually, no, I'm going to keep them open because how else am I going to get these other things open here? There we go. All right, so we have this other guy here. This also looks like a bottle opener in a way, right? That's nice. We have a little bit more defined. Is this an edge? Does this have an edge? You have another tool here. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea what that one is. And that's how you know I'm completely new to Leatherman. So I'm not exactly sure what that one is for. All right, so up next we have kind of like a ruler, right? Kind of gives you a 1 inch. And I do know, and I did learn, this is like a wire stripper right here. So that works as a wire stripper. You put the wire there, kind of put some pressure on it, twist it, and pull back. And you can strip some wires with that. I want to say this is probably the Phillips head, right? The other one was a pry bar. This is probably your Phillips head right here with the ruler and a wire stripper. And we have a file situation going on here. I'm not sure if this one's diamond coated or not because I don't have these specs. All right, so nice little, you know, diagonal line on one side and a little bit more of a cross pattern going on the other side. There we go. Last but not least, what's the last thing we have on here? Okay, so we have this other tool. Okay. We have a serrator blade, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you thought it was only 1 blade, no, it's actually 2. We got a serrator blade, and we already looked at this one has a hollow ground, by the way, so I love that. You guys know me, I love a hollow ground all day, every day. A little bit on the sheep's foot side of things, right? This one doesn't have an actual marking here for what kind of steel it is, so I'll put it on screen there for the steel on this Warncliffe hollow ground blade, and then we have on the side here the serrator one. So take a look at them both right there, looking very, very nice. Go ahead and put them back. There we go. Oh, gotta check out that magnetic pull. Love that. Absolutely gotta love that 100%. And I think, am I missing something? Yeah, that's pretty much it, I believe. What about the inside? Am I missing something from the inside, right? I do know this section here, right, is meant for, you know, like compressing wire and things like that, right? There's so many different uses and possibilities of things that you can do with, you know, a Leatherman or any multi-tool for that matter. I was going to say, originally, obviously, I had the Leatherman newly released Leatherman Arc in mind, but you know, that one's obviously a little bit more pricey. It's around $220-ish dollars. This one is around the $140-ish, $145 or so. And it's in the free series. I think there is also the P2. The P2 is a little bit of a smaller, basically very similar to the P4, but smaller. And of course, the Arc just has some new tricks. It still has the free, right? The whole free magnetic, right? One hand operated multi-tool situation. But it has, I believe, Magna cut steel. So there you go. You have a little bit more of a premium steel on that one. I believe it has more of a longer diamond coated file as well. I mean, there's a lot of other perks with that one. It's obviously the newer one of the two. So that's something else to keep in mind. And so, yeah, it's a little bit more pricey, right? I just kind of gave my wife the option, right? Which one? Just either one is fine. But yeah, this is a great way to kind of get things started. Love this thing as a birthday gift. You know, I'm going to be carrying this thing a ton. There's a lot of honey-do list items that I'm constantly doing all the time here around the house. And yeah, I guess now I have no excuse to get them done, right? She's going to be like, yeah, you know that multi-tool I got you? Like, why don't you put it to use, right? And I'll be like, touche, you're absolutely right. Because, yeah, I definitely need to do that. So here it is next to the Fleesa multi-tool. Again, this one kind of resembles the Wave a little bit. I want to say weight-wise, the Fleesa might be a little bit heavier, right? The Leatherman here is a little bit more on the just slightly lighter side, right? Nothing crazy, but it's pretty good so far, pretty comfortable on hand. I think one thing you do give up is the whole ruler that you have on the Wave or the Fleesa here, which I don't see an outside ruler on the P4, free P4. But again, you know, some small compromises here. This one has a pocket clip. We don't have a pocket clip on this guy, okay? So that's something else to keep in mind. On the Wave, a lot of tools actually open, right? If you think about it, they open from up here, right? So they're hinged from the top, and here with the free P4, they're actually hinged from the back end, right? So not up here, but this back end right here, right? And again, you have a slightly different locking mechanism. The good thing about this one too is, you know, when you go to close the blade, right, you put your thumb here and close it with your index finger, and your finger is never in the path of the blade. So it's a little bit more user-friendly from that standpoint. In the Fleesa, of course, it has the old locking mechanism. So you have to kind of put your thumb here, and then your thumb is in the path of the blade. Then you have to move your thumb out of the way and then close it. I mean, it wasn't an issue for me, but I guess they do market that as a safer way to use your multi-tool. So still think you have to kind of be very irresponsible to, you know, kind of cut yourself closing a blade like that. But either way, right, it's a safer mechanism, kind of like a compression lock. You know, it's a safer mechanism than a liner lock, if you know what I mean. So that is awesome. Closing this thing, opening it one-handed. Well, you know for a fact we got to do our scientific cutting test with this thing, right? So I got some textbook paper as usual, right? Steel. I'm not sure what steel this is. I'll put it on the screen, but yeah, that is one slicey hollow ground right there. Boom, bam. Yep, cuts really good. Let me see. I wonder if I can do I wouldn't use my serrator blade, definitely not the saw, and I do have to switch hands to be able to get this other one out. But let's try the serrator blade, right? Let's see how the serrator blade works. All right, it's a little bit more of a different cutting experience, but in case you're wondering, yeah, it is ready to do some damage. There you go. So what about some cardboard? All right, I got some everyday cardboard here, single wall cardboard. Remember, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular like this, but at an angle. So it should look something like this. Here we go. Yeah, that serrator blade, definitely making some good work of the cardboard, no doubt about that. Switch back to, there we go. Switch back to my Warncliffe. By the way, they could have chosen any geometry for this one, but they definitely, they chose right? That Warncliffe blade looks really good, especially with that hollow ground, right? That was absolutely the right call. So here we go. Yeah, I mean, come on now, right? Cardboard who? Let's go into that material like nobody's business. So these are absolutely very, very sharp out of the box, as you can imagine. And you do have quite a bit of a cutting path right there. I want to say you have about 2.75. So 2.75 inches here, or just shy of that as far as the cutting path goes. That is not shabby at all, right? You guys rate it in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10. How sharp is this guy, right, out of the box? Obviously 10 being the sharpest, right? You guys let me know. Yeah, I'm excited. If you can tell, I am absolutely excited for this thing. I feel like my wife absolutely nailed the hammer right in the head with this awesome birthday gift. So thank you, honey. Thank you so much. You are the best. Excited for this, guys. Yes, I am a December birthday person. So, you know, when it comes around, you know, holidays and Christmas and birthday and all that, you know, sometimes, you know, you got them family friends who always try to pull a fast one on you, trying to get you the one gift that kind of satisfies birthday and Christmas. So if you're a December baby, let me know in the comments, right? If your birthday is in December, let me know if you struggle through those same experiences through your whole life, right? It's always something funny that I tell everybody, because, you know, a lot of people, like my family, everybody else has their birthday on a different month of the year. And so, you know, you separate birthday and Christmas, but mine just happens to be basically a week before Christmas, pretty much. So there you go. Really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Of course, these are going to be linked down below, right? If you guys are just as excited as I am about my Leatherman journey here and multi-tool journey. I mean, I kind of want to get my feet wet into multi-tools more and more. And I feel like this was just a great way to kind of, you know, get that jump started back up again. This thing's going to be pretty sweet. I can already tell. And you already know I'm going to be carrying this thing a ton here, right? There's just a lot of times where, yes, a knife comes handy and I can do so much with a knife, but obviously with a multi-tool, I can do way more things, right? Way more things. So this is, of course, NexTool. They make multi-tools and other EDC gear as well. This particular one is the NexTool Pocket Tool E1. I see a lot of excitement around this particular tool, and I say, okay, let me check it out in person and see if it's really all that. So boom, bam. Right, cutting through that plastic wrap right there. Walk and talk on this thing is amazing. Check out the unboxing video for more details. Probably link to it here at the end of this video. But let's go ahead and find out what this next tool is all about. I also have some other of my multi-tools to do some comparisons here in a moment. So some very small packaging, right? That's the first impression here. Very small, right? Also, you know, good, decent weight, not too heavy, not too light. And out of the box, we have NexTool user manual, right? All the goodies here from every single tool that this guy has to offer. I'm gonna try to do the most manly thing ever, and that is to not read the instructions and try to figure out what these are on my own. But I'll keep it handy and nearby as a reference. We also have some additional, I'm assuming these are possibly blades. They're nicely wrapped in airtight packaging also, so we'll come back to those. We have sort of like a silica gel or anti-humidity pouch here. Do not eat. I wasn't planning on it. And here is the E1. Man, first impression, the E1 is actually pretty awesome size for EDC. Like, it's actually not all that big. I'm gonna do some comparisons here to the Powerpint, which is one of my favorite multi-tools so far, especially for the size, if I'm looking to carry something light. And this guy's right up there with it. First things first, we have a deep pocket carry clip. So that's already a win, right? You can basically bury the whole thing into your pocket. It's also, let's see, how wide is this thing? Right, kind of get a thickness here of 0.58. That's not too bad. Definitely some thickness, but not necessarily too thick. Right, let's kind of make some room here and kind of zoom into this bad boy. We have what I'm assuming is aluminum construction and kind of has this sort of circuit board kind of connection lines milling going on throughout. Then you have this X pattern right here towards the front. That's looking pretty good. Looks like we have Torx T8 on there as the hardware. And let's go ahead and start making sense of this thing together. Again, first time checking this thing out in person, right? So let's go ahead and maybe start here. I'm seeing two tabs, right? You guys are probably seeing these as well. We got two tabs on each side. So let's maybe start here with this one. Okay, so that's a good way to be able to get the blade out. Okay, it has basically like a thumb ramp, otherwise a thumb stud, if you would. All right, bam, we got a very awesome sheep's foot blade on this one. Is that a hollow ground? Do we have a hollow ground on this multi-tool? I think so. Hollow ground with a bell satin finish. Looking good, of course. You know, what you see there is a little bit of oil for transportation. I'm not sure what steel we have here. I'll definitely put it on the screen if I'm not sure, so future me, take note. So we have a blade on this one. We'll test it out in a moment. We also have, let's put this guy back, we have on the opposite side, okay, there's your bottle opener on this side. That's looking pretty good. All right, open up some bottles with that. Bam. All right, what else? All right, those are the easy ones because they have that thumb stud situation, right? Let's see if I can get to or get at the other guys. All right, starting right here. Here we go. We have a QR code, right? Probably has somewhat of a demo video. If you guys want to go ahead and scan that QR code, I'll give you the best shot. So you guys can do that as well. Check that out. So we have a Phillips head screwdriver, and we can turn it around for a flathead screwdriver. This one is under spring tension right here on the side, so we know, right, it's going to stay in place there. I'm going to switch it back to the Phillips head. Right, these don't necessarily lock in place, but they stay, you know, they stay straight. Definitely takes a good amount of resistance here to kind of pull it back in. All right, next we have, let's see, kind of working my way through this guy, picking up a little bit from this side, a little bit from that side. All right, this one probably opens with the nail nick, right? It has a nail nick right here, or at least that's what I use. And boom, we take out the scalpel blade, or this is a replaceable carving knife, if you would. It is an X-Acto 11, in case you're wondering on the specific size. And I can pull back on this, right? It unlocks, and then I can, you know, swap out the blade if I want to. Otherwise, I will put this forward like that to make sure it's locked in place. And this is where the additional extra ones here come into play, I would assume. So actually, I'm curious now, since we got this guy out, what better time? Let's go ahead and put that carving knife to use. All right. Curiosity wants to find out what's in here, and there you go. All right, you got them X-Acto knives in there. Boom. We got 1, 2, 3. Are they all the same? I'm wondering. All right, that one is pretty much the same. It's also an 11, and this one here is also an 11. So yeah, you get a total of 3 spare ones and 1 already installed on the multi-tool. So it's a total of 4 X-Acto knives, 11 replaceable carving knives, right, or razor blades on the tool. So that's pretty cool. And needless to say, it has a very bulky tip right there. That's about as bulky as it gets. So talk about getting, you know, precise, you know, X-Acto knife style. So that's pretty awesome, interesting there. I want to say, I know we have 2 files. We have a metal file, like this one has a nail nick here, so let's go ahead and pull it out. So we had the knife, we had the metal file right there. Okay, maybe I can, there is a little bit of a separator or divider in the middle. Then I got a nail nick here for, ooh, are these the scissors? All right, so let's come back to the metal file. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You got diagonal lines on one side and cross pattern on the other side. But these, whoa, just like, you know, a transformer. This is Megatron here. Just transform like that. That is crazy. All right, well, those are some pair of scissors right there. I'll tell you that. These are bigger than the scissors you get on the Powerpint. I think even bigger than the scissors you get on the FREE P4, right? The Wave or Fleisa multi-tool. Like, these are some of the biggest scissors I've seen on any multi-tool, period. All right, look at the size of these things. Holy smokes. Okay, so those look pretty good. I mean, could we cut some instructions here? Is that possible? All right, let's see how we do this. What's the most comfortable way? Maybe like this. Okay, let's try that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, these are not messing around. Yep, yeah. They are certainly going to cut, right? This plastic here from the replacement blades. Definitely going to cut through that pretty good. So yeah, I mean, we got quite a heck of some crazy scissors here, right, to say the least. So that's pretty nice. And then check out how they fold. So you basically fold the handle, and then the handle continues to tuck in place. That is insane, insane. Wow. Oh man, those are pretty cool. Those scissors are pretty cool. I kind of wanted to come back to this guy for a moment because it actually has 3 different purposes, right? So it is the bottle opener, and that was the first thing that we said it was. It's also a scraper, so you could scrape, right, with this guy here. We got some sort of jimping going on there, right? So we can scrape with it. And it also works as a can opener, right? So it works as a bottle opener and a can opener all in one, which is pretty good. So all in all, right, we have the knife, we have the metal file. Oh, by the way, that metal file can be used as a big flathead screwdriver, so that's pretty interesting. We got the scissors, we got the one tool that works as a scraper, can opener, and a bottle opener, all in one. We got the replaceable carving knife. It is a deep pocket carry clip, and we have a bit for a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver. So that is awesome. That is pretty good. Holy smokes. And look, all in all, in this tiny little size. So let's actually do some size comparisons, right? Folded here next to the Powerpint, right? The only thing you don't have on this particular one would be actual pliers, right? That is something else that a different multi-tool from NexTool does have. So definitely subscribe if you want to check out that video coming up here next in the channel. But aside from no pliers on this guy, right? As long as you know the job doesn't require pliers, it's pretty lightweight. It's definitely lighter weight than the Powerpint, and it's arguably smaller, right? Just place them on the table. You guys be the judge there, right? You can see them size by size. The E1 is definitely smaller, right? If you throw something in here like a FREE P4, obviously that's a much bigger, much bigger multi-tool. Something like the Fleisa multi-tool, right? Kind of a, you know, Leatherman Wave sort of style multi-tool right there. That's going to be bigger, right? So these are going to be more hardcore, work intense sort of multi-tools. This guy's more for the, you know, EDC, on the go. You got so many things. The one thing that impressed me the most, just going to go ahead and take it out here again, are these scissors, right? I'm just going to do a quick comparison. If you look at the scissors on this guy, so obviously you are basically, you know, you're making room here. There's no pliers on this guy, so scissors obviously take, you know, a little bit of priority. Here are the scissors on the FREE P4, and last but not least, the scissors on the Fleisa multi-tool, right? And if you compare all of them, you can see which one has the biggest the biggest scissors. Is this guy, right? The E1. So there you go. If you do something that obviously, you know, prioritizes scissors a lot more than some other tools, you got that going right there, right? As far as the knife goes, obviously you are going to get a very comparable knife on here as you do on the Powerpint, right? I want to say the knife here is maybe a little bit bigger, but not by much. You can see them there side by side, right? Obviously, if you go a little bit bigger on these other guys, right? Something like the blade on the FREE P4, that's much bigger. And last but not least, the blade on the Fleisa is also bigger, right? And you got pliers. So, I mean, this guy's going for something totally different. The fact that you don't have pliers is going for a more smaller package, right? Kind of a complementary carry on the go. You already have so many different tools there to go, which is pretty awesome. So, I mean, it will definitely get the job done. I think, actually, did we forget about the X-Acto knife? Because we do have, right, the X-Acto knife as well. So you basically technically get two blades with this guy. All of these have a secondary, like, serrated blade of some sort also as well. So, I mean, definitely a good value proposition right there. I mean, let's look at them all folded now that we have them here on the table. And you'll see this one definitely has the smallest real estate, right, in the pocket for sure. And also is the lightest of the bunch. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this guy. Obviously it will be linked down below, just like all these other guys, which I absolutely love and enjoy and I carry all the time. Just excited to check out a brand new product here from NexTool. And this one is very popular. This thing is selling on Amazon somewhere around 100 or so units per month. It is definitely popular, to say the least. So pretty interesting, compact, almost EDC flashlight size. I mean, if I kind of compare here to my Workhos HD01, kind of gives me those vibes, you know, maybe like a 2/3 of a Workhos flashlight, you know, in size, but it's packing some serious tools, right? So that's definitely something we're considering. Of course, you know, we got to do our scientific cutting test. So let's go ahead and get a piece of paper out here. I'm going to start with this blade, again, steel on the screen there. Let's see how it goes. All right, you don't have a very long cutting path, so you do want to stay in the cut. Let me see. If you put it against your nail and it doesn't slide off and it actually wants to bite into the nail, that's a good sign that it is sharp. There you go. I just got to be able to get a good starting cut, right? I mean, is this going to be a dedicated cutting blade? Probably not, right? You being a knife guy, which you probably are if you're watching this channel anyway, you're going to have a dedicated knife regardless. Is it going to be a pretty handy knife to open up a quick package? Amazon box, open up a quick package, right? God forbid people are using scissors and keys this day and age. So quick, you know, Amazon box, right? Make work of it, right? Obviously, it's great for utility cuts and draw cuts. It's going to do those very well. But if that wasn't enough and you needed a more precise cutting, you whip out your X-Acto knife here, and yeah, we're definitely working now. This guy is gonna make work of whatever material. Look at that. Boom. Now this piece of paper is already wasted by now, but you get the idea there. This one's gonna slice really, really good, and of course, it's gonna be really good for any, you know, thrusting sort of tasks. We need to like stab through certain material and just make a cut that way. So peel your favorite orange or apple or what have you with an X-Acto knife. I'm kidding. Let's test some cardboard as well, right? We got some dual wall cardboard. Let's see how this guy does. Typically, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular, but at an angle. This wouldn't be the knife for this at all, right? But I just want to, for the sake of it, test it. And is it going to cut the cardboard? Absolutely. All right. What did you expect? I mean, it's basically a laser beam. And then testing out this other guy. Let's see here. Now you do have this kind of thumb stud, right? That's going to go into the cut a little bit. So basically gives you this much, right, from the tip to where my thumbnail is, right, of cutting, a cutting path. But yeah, it can make a quick work out of cutting some material, right? Again, it's not going to be your dedicated knife. Probably are going to carry a specific knife for cutting tasks, but on the go, I mean, it can definitely get some quick work done. All right, you guys rate it in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10. How sharp is this guy? Obviously, 10 being the sharpest. You guys let me know. But wait, there's more. I kind of sound like one of those commercials, right, on TV. I want to test out these scissors because they kind of give me really hardcore vibes. So if I have to cut through some paper, we saw that earlier, obviously it's going to cut no problem. If I have to cut through some cardboard, just because, yeah, it would definitely cut just fine. So these are pretty hardcore, to say the least. So definitely going to put in some good work for you in a pinch, no doubt about that. Well, there you guys have it, a quick unboxing and overview on the E1 NexTool here, product from NexTool, right? Very, very interesting value proposition right here with multiple different tools. Some of the most EDC stuff you did on, you need on a daily basis right here at your fingertips. Screwdriver, flathead, Phillips, the X-Acto knife, that's pretty neat as well. Can opener, bottle opener, scraper, all that good stuff. I mean, pretty awesome package. All in all, with some of the best scissors on a multi-tool that you can possibly get on this guy. So that's pretty awesome. Definitely making an awesome great first impression here. This guy will be linked down below if you guys want to check it out for yourself. Right, good attention to detail here on the aluminum housing on this bad boy here. Looking pretty nice. And overall, I mean, pretty neat tool, right? Definitely goes without saying, right? Definitely a really good package. You can just throw in your backpack, your pouch, your pocket. I mean, pocket clip here is pretty good. We are checking out this multi-tool from NexTool. They're making a debut here in the channel. We just recently looked at their E1, and this one's pretty awesome. Check out the unboxing on this bad boy. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll show you here, right, the hollow ground sheep's foot blade on this guy. And of course, this product, what's in the box and every other tool or product you see in this video will be linked down below in the description. So if you want to check prices, availability, variants, and all that good stuff, definitely check those links. This one's awesome. Check out the unboxing. I'll also link to it at the end for you guys. But let's go ahead and get into this next model here from NexTool. This one is the Mini Sailor. It is a multifunctional pliers. This one is in black, so it's called the Mini Sailor. Let's go ahead and take a look in here, shall we? Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. Oh man, all right, looking very interesting. Let's see, we got the user manual for this bad boy, Mini Sailor user manual. This one got some good, cool features. So we'll go ahead and break them down each at a time there. We got a sort of silica gel for humidity. We have some additional tips. After using the scissors, please follow these steps to recover. Fold the one handle and then fold the whole thing. Okay, so we'll take a look at that for the scissors, and that is everything else in the box. So we're left with the Mini Sailor. And yeah, it is definitely not an understatement. They definitely had a matching name for it. I mean, if you look at it, it's about the same length as my index finger, if you would. It's going to give you the good zoom in so you guys can see it right in more detail. So we have sort of aluminum handles, black handles going on here with the NexTool logo. Some speed holes, or, nice holes there for character. We also have some milling lines for personality. Have a kind of a linear hole here, a linear ring if you want to kind of put in your keychain, something like that. That's also a thing. We're going to do some comparisons here to the E1 in just a moment, but it's actually looking shorter than that guy. And so let's see what we have in store. Let's go ahead. I like to kind of go in blindsided, obviously checking out a product for the first time, sort of tinker with it myself and kind of learn what it has to offer. So I see a nail nick here. I'm going to take this bad boy out, and bam, right off the bat, we have a very similar sheep's foot blade. Hollow ground on this bad boy, and I don't know the steel, so I'm going to go ahead and future me put it on the screen right there so we know what steel we're working with here. Right, obviously this is great for utility cuts and draw cuts with that tip right there. You can cut some Amazon packages, right, open some letters. Just having a good sharp tool on you. Probably not going to replace a dedicated knife. If you're already a knife guy, this isn't going to replace having a separate dedicated knife, but definitely in a pinch, this is definitely going to make some quick work of whatever you need to cut on the go. So we got that guy. We have some separators for this guy. Looks like we have some other tools. Well, actually, no. What's going on in the middle is probably related to the pliers. Okay, I see that's what's going on there. All right, let's switch over to this side. Okay, this one doesn't have a swappable Phillips or flathead. It's actually a dedicated one for each. So we have a dedicated flathead on this side, and there is your Phillips on this other side. So those are nice and accessible, right, with the nail nick from this side here. kind of checking out the scissors, right? They have a little bit of a pull tab. So I'll go ahead and take them out. And it says here push, right? So it tells me here push, bam, here we go. And we got the scissors right there, so we can do some cutting with these. And this is what they mean, right? Once you're done with your scissors, you gotta push this guy up like that, and then you fold the scissors like this. So that's how that works, okay? So that's interesting. And I think we're missing maybe one more. We looked at this guy, another nail nick here. There we go, all right, we got this guy. So this guy is gonna be your can opener, right? It's also gonna work as a bottle opener. So this portion here in the front is your can opener. This back portion here is going to be your bottle opener. So that's pretty cool. And if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and check out the actual pliers. Here we go, boom. Oh, these are snappy. Oh man. What did they put on these? Is this magnets? Like, what? That is satisfying. It's kind of like you take a slip joint, right? Kind of like the same recoil you get from a slip joint, right? When you close it like that. Kind of getting those similar vibes here. All right, let's see. Wow. Okay, that sounds more satisfying than it really needs to be honest. So click and click. That is very snappy. And we got some pliers on the go, ladies and gentlemen, right? Are they going to be the most hardcore pliers out there? Probably not. But in a pinch, right, you need to torque something, right, tighten up something, grip something, whatever the case may be, right? You got some nice pair of pliers on the go. These are a little bit on the slim side. I think we're working with 0.14, right? So definitely on the slim side. And it makes sense because this is, after all, kind of like a keychain carry multi-tool. So the fact that you even have those to begin with, that is pretty awesome there. We got, of course, good grip and teeth on these. Let me get you a zoom in here so you guys can see it. Very nice jimping there in the front, more spread out here towards this area, right, for some bolts or nuts, if you would. And you do have a wire cutter right there, wire cutting functionality, right, on these regular pliers. Kind of have those needle nose aesthetics to them, right, needle nose style pliers there. And, you know, they come nice and lubricated here. I've wiped off a little bit of the oil in the pivot there so far. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on these, right out of the bat. I mean, these are looking pretty good. Let's do some size comparisons here. First, actually, I'll fold it here. I'll show you that folded. What in the world? I still don't know what they put on these. I think it's the fact, okay, so I think I know what's going on here. These two bars right here are sort of working like a back spring. So that's what it is. Those two bars right there are kind of like a back spring. So explains why it is so satisfying on the close, why they also snap in place on the open. I can see actually, yeah, the bars are under tension, right? Very similar to any slip joint will be under tension like this when you open up the blade, right? You can see it right there. So that's what's happening here, and that is creating that very snappy and satisfying open and that very snappy and satisfying close. Man, that's pretty neat. That, honestly, that's pretty cool. That takes the cake right there. So folded comparison, boom, here's the E1, right? Check out the unboxing on this one if you haven't already. The mini Sailor is actually a little bit smaller than that guy, as you can see there. All right, I think next up we'll actually do a little bit of a gross, you know, like a tree here size wise. So Powerpint is going to be a little bit bigger, right, than the E1. I think next the Fleesa Multitool is the next biggest one that I own there. And then of course the FREE P4, another one of my all-time favorites. That one's, I think that one's the biggest multi-tool that I own at the moment right now. Birthday gift from my wife as of December of last year, so we've really been enjoying that one a ton. But yeah, check it out. I mean, like size-wise, we're talking about like almost 2/3 of the size of the FREE P4, right, when folded. So it's not going to take a lot of room in the pocket. There is no pocket clip on this one, so you could carry on your keys. I mean, that's a given, right? I probably end up taking this off or carrying it in my keys. I'm not sure yet. You can also put it in your fifth pocket. That's also another possibility, right? It could be a fifth pocket plier. That's pretty neat to have that on the go. Another thing you could consider is imagine pairing this guy up with the KU00 carabiner right here, and maybe a flashlight like the Woven G2. So let's try that actually. I'm just gonna, since it already has a ring, I'll go ahead and slide this guy in there. And look at that. That is pretty neat. I got a flashlight, I got a multi-tool, all in the very nice titanium carabiner here from Key Unity. Pretty awesome. So check out videos on these as well if you want to check these out in more detail here in the channel. The G2 from Woven and the carabiner Key Unity KU00. Well, that's looking pretty good if you want to go the keychain route. So that's something to consider right there. But yeah, I mean, let's now go ahead and test it out open here in the pliers mode, right? We don't have a pair of pliers on the E1, so we'll come back to it. But there you go. Right here is the Powerpint. That one's going to be a little bit bigger there. The Fleisa multi-tool, kind of Leatherman wave style multi-tool. And of course, the FREE P4. All right, take a look. So obviously you got some bigger pliers for more hardcore use. These are going to be excellent for on the go, right? The Powerpint was already an awesome, very lightweight carry. This guy is going to be even lighter weight than that. So that is pretty neat, pretty awesome to consider. If we check out the, what do we have here? The scissors. Obviously these scissors are not going to be as big as the scissors on the E1, but take a look. Scissors on the Mini Sailor. This guy takes the cake scissors wise. The E1, take a look at this. These are awesome for the size right there. Pretty huge, if you ask me. Let's check out scissors on the Powerpint. Right, those are, you know, somewhat comparable, just maybe a hair bigger than the Mini Sailor, but not as big as the E1. Scissors on the Fleisa Multitool, those are pretty comparable, not that much bigger than the ones on the SOG Powerpint. And last but not least, the scissors on the FREE P4, right? Those are maybe a hair bigger, right? But overall, very comparable. This guy right here definitely takes the cake for sure. So, I mean, those were some of the, you know, most common features, of course. Pliers, scissors. I mean, I guess the last thing we should do that these all have in common too, if I can get, there we go. That's how you fold these in place. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual blade, right? So there is the blade on this bad boy, right? I know the blade on the E1 is more or less around that same ballpark. In case you're curious, it's about somewhat of the same blade, even though the Mini Sailor is so much smaller. No thumb stud on the Mini Sailor like you get on the E1. That's something to consider there. Here is your Warncliffe blade on the Powerpint. It's funny because I'm fidgeting with all of these. They all have somewhat of a different locking mechanism and whatnot. So blade on the Fleisa Multitool. And last but not least, the blade on the FREE P4. So take a look at those. Obviously, it makes sense. These are going to have much bigger blades or bigger multi-tools compared to the Powerpint. Right? The Powerpint is going to have maybe 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch longer than the E1 and the Mini Sailor as well. By comparison, take a look there side by side. But again, all of these have some, you know, good features to each one, which is why, you know, I think it's pretty hard to say sometimes, you know, what multi-tool is the perfect one out there, because they each have so much to offer. Obviously, if you go more hardcore, you're going to have a lot more heavy-duty capability with these guys. They're also going to weigh a little bit more, take a lot more room in the pocket if you would. You can go lightweight, right? And like the SOG Powerpint and the Mini Sailor, right? You still have a good working pair of pliers, but more for light duty stuff. Still can save you on the go. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, that is not gonna get old. If I was considering buying these just for the fidget factor, they got me sold right there, just on how satisfying these are, how snappy they are to open and close. I mean, I thought obviously on the FREE P4, this action right here is super addicting, super fidgety. It's one of my favorite features of the FREE P4. Check out the unboxing on it if you haven't already. But I mean, this one with those back springs on each of the handles, man, that is perfection. Way to go, NexTool. And of course, there will be links for all these in the description and pinned comments if you want to check them out. Unboxing for this guy also available in the channel as well. We have to do our scientific cutting test, so let me get the blade out here, shall we? I got my piece of paper. Here we go. All right, textbook piece of paper. There we go. Keep in mind, you're not working with a ton of, you know, it's not like the longest cutting blade ever. But if you had to open a quick Amazon box, open a quick package on the go, right? This guy, even for piercing and cutting through material like that, definitely gonna do a good job there as well. So not necessarily a dedicated cardboard destroyer, although even though we absolutely will test it here with this piece of cardboard, you're probably gonna have a dedicated knife for actually cutting through cardboard in your garage or what have you on trash day, just to get them out of the house or what have you. But in a pinch, I mean, this could probably make a quick use of cardboard. So remember, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular but at an angle. It's gonna look something like this. Yeah, and that was actually easier than I expected. The only thing is, again, I tapered off because we're not working with that long of a cutting blade. Again, I mean, for the size of what it is, right? Hollow ground and steel right here on the screen, which I'm not entirely sure, so future me slap it right there on the screen. Yeah, I mean, definitely cuts the cardboard. Am I gonna probably sit there and do, you know, a whole 30-40 minute cutting session with this guy? Probably not. If it was the only tool I had on me and, you know, I needed to make a quick cut, right, this is definitely going to come handy though, right? Just quick cut. You get your Amazon box. You need to just cut the tape, kind of open it. Believe it or not, there's people using scissors and keys and all that to open their packages these days. When, you know, something like this obviously comes very handy and will do the job so much easier. And if you're already a knife guy, obviously you're already carrying a dedicated knife anyway. So this would just be a nice little addition, an awesome companion. And oh my gosh, this, okay, listen, I need to move on with the video because I'm just gonna be caught doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Holy smokes, man, that's awesome. Well, there you guys have a quick overview and unboxing raw first experience of the NexTool Mini Sailor. These are actually very, very affordable, right? You can get these on Amazon. I'll have them linked down below, so definitely check the description and pinned comments as well. I'm trying to get, you know, work that out with NexTool if it's possible. But yeah, I can see these being pretty awesome in their own right for EDC carry. Very interesting multi-tool here from NexTool, the NexTool brand. And this one is sort of cool here. It looks like it's some sort of kind of credit card size looking multi-tool with pliers and everything. So we're about to go ahead and dig into this one. Of course, I'll have this one linked down below for you guys to check it out as well. The NexTool Silver Blade EDC tool. So let's go ahead and do the honors here. I got the E1 from NexTool. I know this one has the very awesome X-Acto knife or utility knife here. It's going to do a very satisfying cut right here on the sides. Boom, bam. But let's go ahead and get in here. I know these are very, very affordable. NexTool just makes some really affordable multi-tools. So let's go ahead and dig in here. The Silver Blade. What is this all about? Let's go ahead and find out together here. Like the package is actually very slim, so you can tell it's going to be a very slim construction. We have quite the paperwork right there. Some silica gel or bio-dry, and here it is, right? Sealed in a plastic bag. All right, excited to find out what this is all about. Here we go. All right, we got a nice leather sheath. That's looking pretty good. I love that. It's kind of like a slip, right, with a nice stitching going on all around. NexTool branding right there in the front. Let me give you a closer look right there. That's looking pretty epic. And it passes the sniff test, right? It smells pretty good. I'm sure it's not genuine leather. It's more fabricated leather, if you would, but it definitely, you know, checks that box as far as kind of giving you that feel. You can tell it's fabricated because of, you know, the little foamy looking texture to it, if you would. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and boom, take a look at this thing. Holy smokes. All right, yeah, this thing is definitely on the thin side. There's no doubt about it. Holy smokes. Yeah, we're gonna have to get our calipers out here, ladies and gentlemen, because we need to get a read on the thickness here. We're talking about 0.13. We're talking about blades on some of the knives that I share here in this channel are 0.12 on average. There's only about 0.13. I think the thickest portion is right here in the pliers pivot area. So that portion might be 0.29, right? Maybe rounded up to 0.3. Right, so not even close to, just a little bit over a quarter of an inch even in the thickest portion. So that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and make some room, shall we? Give this thing the spotlight it deserves. I'll leave the sheath right there, but definitely let's go for the pliers first, right? No, you guys are definitely wanting to check that out. Holy smoke. So I'll tell you what, it's not going to be a conventional plier, right? In that sense, it's not going to be the most ergonomic plier for sure. Definitely on the thick side, the handles are definitely quite spread out. But if you need a pair of pliers in a pinch, and we're talking about this is pretty lightweight. I mean, come on now, let me get my trusty scale out here. We are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, 3.3 ounces or 94 grams. So, I mean, that is pretty good weight right there for a pair of pliers. So that is very interesting. Definitely a interesting value proposition to say the least, right? So on the go, on the fly, right? Very interesting here, kind of digging the whole pivot area with the circle. It has this sort of cyberpunk circuit board sort of look to it, right, with all those lines milled into the, what are we looking at? This yeah, this is steel, stainless steel, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely getting pull here all throughout the multi-tool here, so that makes sense. And let me go ahead and fold it back up again. Nice. Okay, so you could do that even if the pliers were open. You could just folding it like that, it will kind of make it fall into place as such. That's pretty cool. So let's talk about the other things we have going on here. So first of all, we got the pliers, we got the wire cutter or wire stripper right there. That's pretty good. You could do both right there. Give you guys a closer look, right? We got the fine jimping in the front, more the fine jimping here towards the arches on the pliers. Again, very thin construction, and that is intentional, right? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this is gonna rival, you know, your Leatherman or even a full-blown Multitool or anything like that, but this is certainly interesting for what it offers. So if we fold it back up, kind of in that credit card shape, we do have some other goodies in here. Let's take a closer look. We have a blade here with the opening hole, kind of a pill shape hole there, right? Oval shape. So that goes all the way out. Does it lock? No, this is a non-locking blade. There's like a detent ball right there, so it stays in place. So it's not like dancing around, but it's not a locking blade. It has sort of like a tanto geometry to it, but only this bottom portion right here is going to be sharp, or half an edge. We'll test that here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and get a piece of paper out here really quick. Oh yeah, in a pinch, it's going to cut paper, no problem. Some cardboard. I have a single wall piece of cardboard here, so when cutting cardboard, then cut perpendicular but at an angle. And this does have a flat grind to about the halfway point. Okay, so kind of give you a closer look there at the blade so you can see it. It's also got this gray coating there with the NexTool logo. This is what it looks like on the other side. Flat grind going on, and here we go. When cutting cardboard, then cut perpendicular but at an angle. And again, it's kind of definitely, you're gripping the entire thing, so definitely it's got a certain feel to it. Not the most ergonomic thing out there, but in a pinch, you know, for the amount of weight, I mean, come on. Definitely a very interesting value proposition. And in case you're wondering, oh yeah, it cuts. Oh yeah, definitely cuts really, really good there. And what is this? Maybe like an inch and a half, close to 2 inches, perhaps. Let me get my calipers out here once again. We are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps somewhere closer to maybe just over 1 3/4, 1.8 or so, right on the cutting path there. So that's interesting. Again, that detent ball being your, you know, kind of what holds the blade in place. It is non-locking, and you don't have to press any buttons. Also snaps in place. That's pretty cool. And then on the other side, we have, right, this other tool here, right? So this has got probably a lot going on here. We have a ruler, first of all. We have all kinds of sharp portions to it. This might be the part where I might need to look at the paperwork just to give you guys the exact everything we have here. I know that's definitely a bottle opener right there for sure. All right, looking at the paperwork here, of course, we got Mandarin, my native language. Absolutely, psych. Anyways, on the other side, let's see, what do we have? It's going to be on here. We have a wiper. All right, so that right there is a wiper right here with some jimping. Right there. So that is called the wiper. We got a box opener. All right, that's pretty neat. So that right there, if you want to use that little blade, kind of like a chisel ground right there, you could use that as a box opener. A wire stripper. So this would be a wire stripper. Okay, and is this one locking? Yes, yes it is. This one actually locks. So it's kind of like a frame lock style locking to it, right? So now I can actually move the entire handle. So it does lock. I have to move the lock bar out of the way. And I guess you can strip some wire right here if you use this section and put the wire against the handle there and then just strip, right? That's going to work out. Wire stripper, we have a scale, right? Not sure how that works, right? A scale, I guess it's actually pointing to, I think it's talking about the actual ruler itself, if it's calling a ruler, a scale, bottle opener, as I mentioned earlier. And then we have a spoke key, which is this square section right there, right? So also have some wire cutters in the pliers themselves, like I said earlier. So 2 types of wire cutter right here and also on the pliers themselves. And of course the nose needle pliers, right? A hanging hole, so almost missed that. This right here gives you a nice little hole here if you want to hang it somewhere. Also notice the handles can go into each other and click, close. Very, very sneaky. Look at this, guys. We have a Phillips head screwdriver right there in the corner. I did not see that one coming, I'll tell you that. Oh, there you go. Got the labeling right there. Phillips head on one corner and a flathead on the other corner. That is pretty ingenious right there, the way they did that. Take a look. Holy crap. Okay. Discovering some stuff. And by the way, this is why gotta overcome the man inside of you and actually look at the instructions to figure out everything you got going on here. There's no way I would have been able to uncover everything if I hadn't looked in here. We have, of course, the knife, right, with that tanto geometry I told you about. And yeah, let's not forget about this. We do have 6, 7, 8 millimeter hexagon spanner. That's very interesting. So we have that on both sides. That's going to be 6, 7, 8 millimeters on that side, and 3, 4, and 5.5 millimeters hexagon spanner on this side as well. So that is the whole shebang right there, right? Making sure I didn't miss anything. Weight is 91 grams, like we talked about. Main material is maybe the steel right here, 420J2 for all my steel nerds out there. EDC multifunctional tool designed in the shape of a card. See, I had a feeling it was kind of like a credit card size. Very slim. One tool for many cases. Delicate and portable, which could be carry out in one hand. The great material and high quality workmanship. Okay, so yeah, this is looking very interesting. Of course, we got to do some size comparisons. Let's clean up here a bit. Again, I'm really digging the way it folds here into the sheath like that. That's pretty neat. I mean, come on, that's pretty clean. Not gonna lie, right? You can push here, get it out, right? Or maybe just do a little squeeze, get it out that way, like that. Loving the darker gray to kind of accent or contrast the lighter gray. That's looking pretty epic. So fold it up. Let's do some size comparisons here next to a few other multi-tools. Next to the E1, which we looked at a second earlier. This one is going to be a little bit slimmer there, but a little bit thicker, right? Got a whole other set of tools. Check out the unboxing on that one for more details. I have all these linked down below and also the videos for all these as well. There is the NexTool. This one is the Mini Sailor. Right, it's a little bit slimmer than the E1 and a little bit smaller as well. This one also has a plier, whereas this one does not carry a plier. Right, we'll do some open comparisons in just a moment. Here's the Powerpint on the left. Here's the FREE P4 from Leatherman. SOG Powerpint on the left. Leatherman FREE P4 right here on the right. You can see, obviously, you know, the main perk here is the slim factor, right? Just look at how much slimmer this one is compared to the other ones. It's also a little bit wider, clearly, right? It's kind of a necessary evil here to make this work. And last but not least, I got the Rocktol Gen-R to the left and the Fleesa Multitool to the right. Again, same deal with those, right? Definitely got some thickness going on there to deal with. This guy's just going for that slim credit card aspect ratio, right, or factor. So let's do, again, going backwards here, right? The kind of open aspect ratio, if you would, right? So obviously these are going to be more hardcore, right? Regular, actual hardcore users. There's a Fleesa on the right. Here is the NexTool Gen-R on the left. So those are more dedicated ones, whereas this one you can just carry and then, you know, just use it occasionally. It'll be nice to have as compared to not carrying anything at all. And there is going to be a weight advantage. These are obviously going to weigh a lot more. This guy's going to weigh a lot less, right? So it kind of depends on what you got going on your day. If you know you're going to be out in the job site and doing some hardcore work, definitely probably going to want to go with a, you know, more heavy duty tool. Obviously, this is not going to replace one of these guys, but definitely serves a purpose there for more easy carry, EDC friendly. Got Leatherman on the right, SOG Powerpint on the left, small form factor, and it gives you an idea right there. Again, just doing some size comparisons. And last but not least, here's the Mini Sailor, right? This one again has spring-loaded pliers, which is again a pretty cool multi-tool. And there are no pliers on the E1, but we do have these awesome scissors. I do believe there's maybe an E1 with big pliers instead of scissors, so check that out. NexTool again they have a pretty awesome lineup of different multi-tools and variety of different styles. So definitely check them out. Have all the links down below for you guys. And yeah, this thing is pretty epic, right? Let me know your thoughts on this one, right, in the comments. Is this something you see yourself carrying? You know for a fact I'm going to be carrying this one. This is just an unboxing, first impression, raw impressions video here. So it's kind of checking this thing out for the first time. I'm curious if there's any play, if I kind of wiggle these back and forth, but no. That is rock solid. There's no wiggle there. Good movement. Right? There's no like dripping grease anywhere or anything like that. So that feels good. And then on the close, right, that is nice and satisfying. Definitely digging the additional leather slip right there. There we go. It needs a little bit of a squeeze to kind of widen up the mouth a little bit. And boom. Right? And even that, it's not even that heavy at all, even with the slip. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this one. Again, I'll have a link down below if you guys want to check it out. What do you like about it? What do you love about it? Is there anything you dislike, right? What are your thoughts? Again, keep in mind, I don't want you guys to think that this is a replacement for a dedicated full-size multi-tool or anything like that, right? There's a place for that, obviously. But, you know, it's going for something different, right? A very EDC-friendly, lightweight, slim form factor. And I think it definitely nails that right in the head. You guys let me know. I know there's credit card size knives out there. Now there's a multi-tool on a credit card size style knife. That's pretty epic. So Here we go. Rocktools, rock solid tools. So we're about to find out, is it a multi-tool? Is it something else? I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look. So far, it's definitely shaping to be that way. Here we go. Bam. All right, so this one is, again, first rock tool in the channel. That's looking pretty epic right there. It comes with its own sheath as well. And I like the presentation, by the way. The fact that they molded this out to fit everything. That definitely looks pretty nice as far as presentation goes. And here is the sheath, right, with a little buckle there. We have some additional bits, which I think there might be, yeah, two sides, a 6, a 4. Flathead, we have a T8 and T6, I'm hoping. Ooh, we got T10 and T5. I know most knives have T8 and T6. And then we have a Phillips and a tiny flathead on this one. That's interesting. So we have that. We have some silica gel or bio dry, whatever that is. That is for, you know, humidity and stuff, preserving the package. All right, so that is, we'll come back to this in a moment. All right, love the blue branding right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual tool, shall we? Here we go. Bam. So Rocktol, if I had to guess here, this is the Gen-R model. All right, so that's looking pretty interesting here. It does have a pocket clip, which is perfect. Love a good multi-tool that I can actually carry with a pocket clip. All right, we'll get this thing weighed in a moment, but it definitely has good amount of weight to it. I love it. And we have some tools on the outside, easy to access. Let's waste no time. Let's see what we're working with. Ooh, that felt very nice to disengage there. That is VG10 steel. And we have a sort of tanto blade or sheep's foot blade, reverse tanto, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's looking very nice, VG10 steel. These will lock very similar to the Leatherman Wave and the Flisa multi-tool we've seen here in the channel. Right, so you open them all the way, they lock in, kind of like a liner lock or a frame lock knife. This one locks in all the way in. So to disengage, I would push this bar away from the blade and then I can actually slowly close the blade. All right, so that's pretty standard there. We have, if I turn it 180, I got a serrated blade and a hook. It looks like a hook blade right here. That's pretty interesting, right? Can cut out, you know, your fishing line or what have you, some small rope with this thing. That's looking pretty savage there. And of course, we got all the serrations going. That's looking pretty epic. You guys take a look at that. And this one also locks the same way, which again, we can do all one-handed operation. Absolutely love that. These things are on washers. The other ones, we actually have to use both hands. So here we go. Holy smokes. These are some scissors, I'll tell you that. Man, there's some size scissors right there. That's for sure. I'm wondering if these are supposed to be spring-loaded. Most of them typically are spring-loaded, so maybe I have to tighten it up a little bit for them to be supposed to give me some resistance and keep the scissors open. But we'll test that out. Come back to those. I like the size though. So some pretty good size scissors there. All right. And this one also, let's see, does it lock all the way out? There it is. I finally did. Oh, there it is. Okay, Miguel, listen. All right, guys, I'm just a noob. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. So this is why I love doing these videos, because, you know, you guys get to see my first raw impressions, reactions, and then you get to poke fun of me in the comments. So yeah, in order for the spring section, right, this little bar right here, to provide you that spring feel, you have to actually has to be locked out completely. So that's what I wasn't doing before. So we're gonna disengage. Let's go ahead and rinse and repeat. Pretend like this never happened. I could edit this out, but no, I do want you guys to see me act a fool, right? Look, this is what your reaction could be, right, if you're checking this thing out for the first time. So you want to go ahead and make sure it's open, right, all the way out. Make sure it clicks. You can actually hear that click. And then, yes, your scissors are good to go right there, good tension. Since we're here, I mean, might as well, could have already done this with the blade, but yeah, that's a good scissor right there. I like the fact that it's folded to the side, because it gives you a little bit more flat surface for you to be able to function or use the scissors right there. Very nice. We're going to disengage here. I'm using the other hand because it's basically, I guess you could work it like that if you are a lefty. There's that click. Use your scissors and then disengage from your left hand, just like that. Boom. Okay. Opposite from that, we have, these are all the outside accessible tools, by the way. We have a saw. That is a very toothy saw. All right, make sure you open it all the way again so that it clicks, it locks in place. There's one toothy saw right there. If I ever saw one, ha! That joke's pun intended. Yeah, I'm lame, I know. Anyways, yeah, it definitely locks, and then we can, disengage. Again, some of these work really nice with, with your left hand, so you can disengage basically the opposite way of some of the other tools that you're able to do with your right hand. So just the way that they're located. And I think that's pretty much it, right? We got the 4 outside tools. Let's go ahead and finally open this thing. Before we do that, let me just give you a quick cut of that VG10. Okay, boom. All right, there's some good slices, flat grind, toothy edge. That cut's pretty good. Right, yep, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and close this thing. Let's open it up. Is it this side? This side, there we go. Ooh, okay. Loving how nice that felt. Is there some magnets going on here? Actually felt pretty good to open them up for some reason. All right, check that out. It does tell you here, these are made overseas in China, so they're not pretending like they're not. It says it right there. Stainless steel, China, and we have a ruler going on here. We got inches and centimeters going on both sides. Again, this is very Leatherman wave looking like aesthetics. Now, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, watching Max Level EDC, he has a ton of content on Multitools, and I love checking out his content. I think the patent on the wave expired, and so now other companies can make similar looking multi-tools. So this one is looking pretty epic on that department. We have there we go, there is our driver. Right, we can actually use, it comes with a Phillips 316 and a flathead. Right, check that out. And this is where we can actually swap these out if we want for the included tools. That's the one thing about the Leatherman ARC or whatever, right? You buy the very expensive ARC, or I think it was one of the models. I know that the FREE P4 didn't come with any extra hardware. You have to buy that separately. Here you actually get this included, so that's nice. All right, pretty epic there. You can switch. I'm going to put it back to the Phillips head. I tend to use that one more often. These are pretty easy to disengage. They're locked. And you just push right here, and then that allows you to disengage, fold in. That's good. And then we have another set of tools on the inside from this side. So let's go ahead and pick them out. We have, that's one very tiny screwdriver. So for, your eyeglasses or what have you, that's going to come handy. Very precision-like, screwdriver there. And these do lock. Yes, you can unlock them by pushing right out here like that. We have what looks to be a bottle opener and perhaps a can opener. That's what this one looks like. And we should probably zoom out. There you go, Miguel. Zoom out a little bit so folks can see what the heck you're talking about. Yeah, this one looks like a bottle opener and can opener, I want to say. We can open it with the nail nick. It probably also works as a wire stripper. That's what this little serrated section right there reminds me of. So it could be that. If I know my multi-tools as well as I think I do, which is not very well. I'm just getting my feet wet in multi-tools. Tell you what, I feature a few here in the channel. I own some myself, which I absolutely love. This works as a pry bar. It's also a bigger flathead screwdriver as well. Then we got that tiny Phillips head we talked about. Then we got, I think, 2 more over here to the left. Go ahead and fish them out. There we go. These last 2, we got a file. I'm going to switch around, put those back. We have a file, kind of looks like a diamond, right? Some sort of diamond coated file there on one side, and we got the cross pattern on the other side. So that you got that going, and I think this is called the awl tool, right? For my people who do leather work out there, right? I believe this is used, if I'm not mistaken, and I just learned this recently. The awl tool is used to poke the hole on the leather and make them a little bit bigger. I think that's what this guy is for. I could be mistaken. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments. I always love to learn new stuff, and I think I know what this is, an awl tool, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Yeah, so I feel like we have, is that everything? Come full circle on everything this thing has to offer. I think so. And of course, I mean, it is a multi-tool. I mean, did you miss the big old pliers right there in the front? Yeah, we have some nice finer jimping here and some thicker one here as well. It has a wire cutter also in there. And I love the action. I mean, these are so smooth, right? This movement right here, very, very nice, right? They're not overly oiled or anything. So it's not like there's oil coming out, right, from here or anything like that. And let's check out the close. I like how they snap like right there. Very snappy. That feels good. Can I one-hand it? Let's see. Is it kind of FREE P4 style type of close? One-handed. yeah, I mean, and I like that. There's got to be a magnet here or something. It feels really nice. Maybe, yeah, it's a back spring. There's a back spring somewhere. There it is. This right here, this piece inside, right? It's once it reaches the end, it snaps. Boom. That is how you get that satisfying close. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons, shall we? Let's go ahead and see what it looks like here next to some of the other multi-tools we've featured in the channel. Here's, of course, one of my all-time favorites, the FREE P4, made in good old US of A. And my wife got me this one for my birthday, right, this past year. So been loving carrying that one. You can see them there side by side. I'm not sure if we can fit them all next to each other, but here is the Fleesa multi-tool. This is the very first multi-tool that I feature in the channel. Again, a very Leatherman wave sort of looking design. All right, let's see. Are we going to have enough space? Hopefully we do. There we go. So you can see the FREE P4 is a little bit larger, right? The Rocktol Gen-R and the Fleesa multi-tool are very comparable right there, as you can see. The one thing about the Fleesa multi-tool, it doesn't have a pocket clip. The Gen-R definitely does. So I'm digging that right there for sure. As far as, you know, the accessible tools, right, I'm sure they are very, very similar. This one also has the locking, very similar to the locking system here on the Gen-R. From the outside for those inside tools, and even the way the blade locks. For example, let's say I took out this blade, right, even with the lock icon and everything, same deal going on here with the Fleesa multi-tool. That's the serrated one. I'm trying to pull out this guy. There we go. See, there it is. Boom, bam, right next to each other. Let me do the blade here on the Leatherman. Bam, right, love me that Warncliffe blade on the Leatherman FREE P4. All right, these are some of my, again, Fleesa, one of my first ones, and the Leatherman FREE P4, one of my absolute favorites. If we can do maybe a folded comparison, I'll be able to fit perhaps a few more here on the screen. So I would say these are definitely on the large, heavy-duty side of things. Right, there's the Gen-R next to the FREE P4 and Fleesa. And then you have the more pocket-friendly ones that you can carry without dragging you down all too much. So you got the Powerpint, which is one of my all-time favorites. I toss this thing in the pocket all the time. It has that leverage, compound leverage system going on, right? Very lightweight, right? Even has a pocket clip. So I love it. And then we have the NexTool. This is the Mini Sailor. And this thing is also pretty epic. You can put it on your keychain if you want, or just carry it loosely in the pocket. It doesn't have a pocket clip. I like how this one snaps with the back spring. Take a listen to that. Oof, that feels so good. So yeah, I've featured all of these in the channel before. So check out those videos if you haven't already, right? Obviously this guy, the Rocktol Gen-R, is going to be more full size, right? Hardcore, heavy duty use. Let's go ahead and check it out here with the sheath situation. All right, let's see how this works. All right, we got the loop here, so you can put it on your belt or what have you. Get it open here, and we put the pocket clip. I think the pocket clip goes maybe, there's a pocket inside the actual sheath, so I'm not sure if that's going to get in the way or not. All right, so I think that pocket might be intended for you to put the additional bits there. I'm not sure if that is technically the case or not, but I can tell you though, I'm going to struggle a little bit getting the multi-tool in, or maybe not so much. There we go. Well, you kind of move it to the side. Take a closer look. Let me bring you guys in there with the 5x zoom. So there's a multi-tool, and then there's a little pocket, right, for the bits. It's pretty intuitive, right? Just have to kind of use my common sense skills a little bit to connect the dots. But okay, there's your buckle there. Right, nice snappy buckle experience, and yeah, pretty snug in there. So the sheath itself is maybe a hair longer than the actual multi-tool. But otherwise, pretty good construction. You got the elastic portion right here, allows it to stretch. Right, take a look. And yeah, other than that, I mean, looks very well constructed. Right, got some stitching going on around the edges. And again, you can put it on your belt there and just carry it like most multi-tools have as far as their sheath situation goes. So that's pretty neat, right? Definitely functional. And I mean, they thought about putting a little section right there for the bits. So that is very nice. As far as the different bits, I mean, this should be very straightforward stuff here, right? It's just basically plug and play. If you take one out, they all have the little ball. So that's always a good thing, right? If I take this one out and I want to use the bigger flathead, this flathead is actually bigger than this one, by the way. So it's the fact that you have all those different options. Switch it around. Actually comes pretty sort of oiled, if you would, for protection. Make sure it doesn't rust on you or anything. But yeah, you can switch them around, use them as you see fit. They do stay in place. They snap in place because of the little ball. So yeah, it's not like it's falling off on its own or anything like that. It just gives you a good feel, satisfaction. I always carry it with the Phillips and flathead because I never know when I might need one or the other in a pinch. But I will have this in the sheath handy for in case I need something a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, or any of those torque bits as well. Right, so yeah, very, very nice additional bonus right there. Loving that. Here are the sheaths for the Leatherman FREE P4 and the Fleece Multitool. Both of them have this sort of hole on the buckle itself, and none of them have that extra pocket on the inside. And this guy does, and it has a different design buckle, right, for what it's worth. Right, just to show you the difference between those. All of them have the branding on the outside, very straightforward. This one just has that neat pocket there for the additional bits. Again, this is just an unboxing and first impressions video, right? And honestly, I like how smooth it is, right? Very, very smooth, very easy to operate. Loving that. My fleece tool, even after all these years of, you know, opening and closing, still feels a little bit on the, you know, very rigid side, but it's so smooth with the Gen-R right here. So nice, easy to open and close. Gotta love that. Boom. All right, well, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one, right? You know, just kind of doing a quick comparison and overview. And again, love that it has a pocket clip. So hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one, either this one or this one. Peace.